Surprise, surprise! They did another fucking Indie World without Silksong. Can you believe this shit, Kevin?
Steve, we already told everyone he wouldn't be here last time, so, it's already...
Fuck!
Step into video game land. Welcome to Fine Time.
Hello, party people. It's your boy Dre. Hello, party Steve. It's my boy Steve.
Woo!
Do you like the... Okay, so when you want to do, like, festive something on text, do you like the party popper emoji? Do you like the confetti ball? Like the...
I like a nice sarcastic party popper.
Okay, see, I like the ball. I like the... I don't know, maybe it gives me, like... It was always my favorite item when it showed up in Smash Bros. Melee for the first time, the ball. You just slap that thing.
Well, sometimes if you slap that thing, it blew yourself up.
Oh, yeah. Or my favorite is when a bunch of bomb-oms came out. That was always my favorite party trick. Oh, man. Okay. Just us Americans here. Woe is you, everybody. This is America first, baby. We should take back the phrase America first from those creeps. Don't you think?
We got to take back a lot of those things from those creeps. But yeah, let's take that back first.
Yeah. Come on. All right. Well, the game we're going to talk about this week is something we planned together, me and Steve. Well, it was Steve's idea. He can tell you about it in a second. But it is called Paranormasight, The 7 Mysteries of Honjo. All right, Steve, tell the people why you implored that we play this game, Paranormasight.
I don't know about implored so much as suggested it right before it stopped being on sale, but Kevin's out, and it's nice to weeb up the place sometimes with a mystery or 7. Or is it up to 15? Who could be sure when he's gone? And, it was on deep discount since they announced a new one at the partner showcase. We omitted that particular fact since, But I guess enough people bought it or there wouldn't be a second one. And I figured, $5 is enough to look at the first one. And then I'm like, come on, Andre, $5 is enough to look at the first one. And you said, fine. And then you did it.
I didn't say it like that.
I felt it through the Discord.
Hey, come on! Look, when I see now, I want to go back and look, but I'm not gonna stop the show to go do that.
Well, it's not. Well, that's never what it says. But in the moment you feel it, and then it's like, fine, we'll do it.
No, I was.
We'll play Paranormasight coming to a theater near us in 2009.
Oh, I would hella watch an anime based on this. That'd be so good. So I guess we should start with what this is, because I'm not sure a lot of people do, because I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure I ever knew that this game existed or it appeared in some sort of direct, and I just flat out forgot or something. So I'm assuming there's a lot of people in my boat who also keep their ear to the ground who have no idea what Paranormasight is. So why don't you tell everybody?
Paranormasight is a visual novel, point and clicky adventure game with a story chart where we are investigating the 7 several-ish mysteries of the Honjo. Lots of curses and bad things happening to good and not so good people.
Yep.
That's it in a nutshell. And yeah, I don't know if I heard of this either. I probably saw it in a presentation somewhere, or maybe I didn't. And I probably definitely saw it whenever Square Enix had a sale and was like, oh, not right now, while I'm cramming some other manner of games from those same set sales onto my Switch. But, now this time it was $5.
Can't beat it. I had a ball for $5. How about we just tell the people that up front? This is a pretty good game.
I had a great time for $5.
MSRP is $20. I would have had a great time for $20, to be honest.
I thought I saw 25, but 20 is a good price too.
Yeah. I think the new one's 25. I think the old one's 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So this game is developed and published by Square Enix. And when something is made by Square Enix these days that isn't like a legacy series like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or whatever, I always like to dig around and see if there's any key staff who did anything notable before this, because, you know, you just don't know in this new age of Square Enix, like something like Octopath Traveler. Right? Who knows? Is that like a Square game, quote unquote? Is that an Enix game? Who knows what side of the company that is? It's just Square Enix, right? So
surprise! It's a quintet game, bitches.
Basically, it's if I didn't know any better. Wait, who actually makes those? Isn't it like Acquire or like?
Acquire does Octopath Traveler.
Okay, yeah. I figured it was some company like that. I almost said Ancient, but that's the Yuzo company. Although honestly, if it were Ancient, I wouldn't bat an eyelash. Point is, I did a little research and I found 3 key names in my search for who made this game, Paranormasight. The character designer and illustrator on board here is Gen Kobayashi, best known for his character designs in The World Ends With You and Neo The World Ends With You. Steve, I know you love those games, so...
What? Me? No, never. I wouldn't love a game where we go through modernish days through a parallel death world twice that I'm lucky to have. Never.
Nope. Never played any of them. Never gushed about it on these airwaves. Kobayashi has also worked on a ton of Kingdom Hearts stuff as well, but we don't have to talk about that. Shh. The composer, Hidenori Iwasaki, he's worked on a ton of stuff at Square Enix over the years, like The Bouncer, Saga Scarlet Grace, The Adventure of Mana remake, the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remaster, the ill-fated one on Switch a few years ago. So, like, yeah, he
fucked up.
Yeah, fucked up, but not his fault. He just did the music. So, yeah, he's done a lot of music at Square Enix. And the director and scriptwriter, Takanari Ishiyama, the only thing I could really find that he worked on at Squeenix was Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings. Remember that shit for DS? Because I completely forgot.
Wonder if he's even still there and this just wasn't a script they pulled out from like the files. Like, 7 Mysteries of the Honjo. What the hell is this? Wait, this is pretty good.
Yeah, like I wonder if he's been like cooking on this for a while. It does seem like something somebody thought about for years, you know? But anyway, the reason why he's done very little at Square Enix is because he's mostly done visual novel stuff since then, not at Square Enix. But this is a project for them. So, you know, hey, let's just start here before we get into the meat of the game. And we're not going to spoil as much as we can. We want people to actually play this game, so we're not going to like go nuts and tell you all the story beats or anything. But Steve, as I often say on the show, we eat with our eyes first. Can we please talk graphics on Switch 1? Because this game is really not much of a looker, unfortunately. I mean, you can compare it to anything else recently that we played, like the Famicom Detective Club games, the remakes on Switch, and the new one, Emi the Smiling Man. Or even like the Phoenix Wright remasters, whether it's like the 2D ones or the 3D ones. Paranormasight doesn't look nearly as good as any of those, in my opinion. And I get like, okay, it's also a mobile game. It's also for iOS and Android. And I know some people make excuses for mobile games that way, but I don't know, man. If you're going to put a phone game on a console, I think you kind of have to look better than this.
You know, look, I know. I'm always but Andre, when it comes to the graphics, the game retails for $20 normally. I think it's okay to cut some corners when you're never expecting people to pay up them fancy bucks for it. I mean, yeah, we loved Emi the Smiling Man, but that was a $50 game with budget. Well, and it looked it too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't need a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I mean, they really cranked that shit up.
Yeah. Although if Emi could like scale, if they made those assets in 4K, though. That would be so cool.
It would.
Yeah, I mean, it already looks sharp as hell, but no, I hear you. I'm not like ripping on it too much. It's just that it looks kind of old compared to, I don't know. Again, I know this is unfair because it's a Switch 2 game, but think about like Dear Me, I Was or something like that. That shit looks immaculate.
Well, that's more tech demo than what this is. But
that's true.
At the same time, very early on, we meet a storyteller. That's his name, the storyteller. And he's like, you see this? This used to be a TV. And here's a record player. And they're trying to drive home this point of analog tech. And we're going to tell a story during the time of analog technology. So, things of it looking the way it does kind of fits, I gotta say.
You're right. I'll give you that. I think you're correct on that. I'm not trying to rip on the graphics too much. It's just compared to what we have recently played, it just doesn't really, it's just not up there. They do a lot of zoom ins on the character face. Like this game is like completely 2D and it looks very jagged and like kind of like not great sometimes. That's all.
I just think it's kind of charming that way though. Like it's a secret game from a while ago that we missed out on that we're only playing now. Like a longer while ago, I mean.
Okay. I mean, I hear you. To be honest, though, it kind of does look like an Xbox Live Arcade game. It looks like a game from like 2009 or 10, especially with like the heavy, very heavy film grain and like chromatic aberration and shit going on there. Like this very heavy, like static over the image.
Oh, I kind of like that stuff, though. I thought it was...
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just wish it were like higher resolution so that effect would like pop a little more. Because like at this res, it looks a little muddy. That's all.
He just wants it in 1080, damn it.
I mean, I take 1440p at this rate, man. I'll take anything. Anyway, yeah, you mentioned the storyteller. I really like the framing of that for this game, that this is done through a guy called the storyteller. He introduces you to the concept of the game. He sends you like literally inside the old ass TV that you mentioned. By the way, do you like how it said presented by whatever name you put there? Presented by Steve.
Yeah.
I love that touch for some reason. It was funny. It reminds you know what it reminds me of, Steve? It reminds me of the framing of like pre-Golden Sun Camelot games where it's like there's a fairy telling you a story from this book. Hey, do you want to, like the Shining Force games do that?
Back when that wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
Blossom Tales.
Oh, they do that?
The whole game is that. It's a grandpa telling his kid a story, his kid's stories, and they just keep interrupting it to make it better or worse. It's bad.
That kind of seems like How I Met Your Mother-ish, honestly, if you ask me.
That almost sounds better than Blossom Tales, but
I don't know. I always like that framing of How I Met Your Mother, to be honest. But anyway, it's this framing device is also fun because like if you fuck up and you die, then the view comes back out of the TV and he's like, "Whoops! I guess you weren't supposed to do that." Maybe try again, knowing what you know now. It's always very, I don't know if you want to call it meta or fourth wall breaking, but they're always making sure that you, the player, is like in charge of these other characters. Like, hey, you know stuff that they don't. So use that to your advantage and help them.
It's a very modern day. It's not, well, the other week I talked about Leisure Suit Larry. There's not too many loser conditions in that game, but you still can lose. Paranormasight wants you to win eventually, but you still gotta think it through a bit.
Yeah, and they strike a very good balance on that, because if you die a bunch of times, which there was one spot where I got stuck. I'm trying to think of a non-spoiler way to say this. You're in the park and someone's counting down at you. Okay. I got stuck. Fun. I got a little stuck. So I kept dying. But then, so like after I died like 3 or 4 times, he gave me a little more pushy advice to say, hey, maybe if blah, 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 but he didn't outright tell me the answer. It was just a bigger hint than what he was giving you before. And that's very smart because you know how much I hate the handholdy shit these days, especially with games like this. You don't need to do that. But this game plays it very well. And I appreciated that. And that gave me the little push that I needed to be like, oh, I think I know what I can do. You
sure that wasn't too handholdy though? Because I don't know. it did happen to me a second time. And then I'm like, oh, that's the answer. I'm like, oh, boy.
No, I mean, obviously everyone's mileage will vary on this. I thought it was fine. I thought it was the correct amount of advice, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, eventually we do open a story tree anyway, so you hop around.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I thought it was going to be one of those games where you play out someone's entire story, and then you play out someone else's entire story, then you play out someone else's, and so you see all the perspectives of this thing. But no, you're jumping around the timelines and jumping back and forth between people's perspectives and stories, which I didn't expect. I thought it would just be a through line. Okay, you beat this one, you beat this one, you beat this one.
Yeah, they don't even let you do that if you want to. I mean, I tried because, full disclosure, we had record-setting blizzards out here right after recording last time. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm like, oh man, Paranormasight, what the fuck was I thinking choosing this thing? And then the story tree opened up. I'm like, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go line by line, row by row, and a neat little line, and figure this shit out.
You are so fucking boring sometimes. You are just, come on, man. Have a little fun.
I mean, I did. We started off with the rich housewife and her bi-curious private investigator. I mean, they are a pair.
Oh, he's, how do we describe this guy? He looks like if Indiana Jones, he looks like Joseph Jotaro, right? From JoJo. Yeah, but younger. He looks like the younger saga of him, almost.
Yeah.
Not Joseph Jotaro.
Wait.
Jotaro is his kid. Jotaro,
no,
whatever, the JoJo character. Everyone knows who the fuck I mean. Yeah, he looks like that. He's something else, man. The way he got it. Oh, God. Did you have him play at the playground?
I think he just did that on his own when I looked at the playground. I looked at it once, I think he wants to play on the playground. And then I checked it again. I think he's going to do it. And then he played on the playground.
Just something else this game does really well. And this isn't something, and look, maybe I don't play the most visual novels, right? I love the focus on talking. There's not a whole lot of pointing and clicking. You do it a little bit, but this isn't like Phoenix Wright where you're searching for a bunch of evidence and shit like that. You do it a little bit, but not much. What I really appreciate about this game, though, is kind of what I was detailing before about how to get out of situations, knowing stuff about other characters if only this character knew that. Well, this character can know that because you, the player, knows that. So you're going back and forth, and the game wants you to figure out how these curses work, these individual curses work, and not trigger the conditions so you don't die and you can continue the story because people are out here to kill you. And going back and forth between the timelines and figuring out how each thing works, that was easily my favorite bit of the game. But a lot of that, Steve, happens in the first third, I would say. And then there's a long stretch where you're not doing that. And I kind of found that less interesting.
I don't know. I think the appeal was just the way they played out all these storylines in the first place. The housewife cowboy storyline dynamic plays a lot differently than, I should say it reads differently than the way the schoolgirl's doing hers, which is playing out differently than the way the cop is, with his swanky tune following him everywhere he goes.
Oh, the music in this game is something sometimes.
Okay, they're all doing their stuff a little bit differently, and I think that's the appeal of the thing, especially when you're doing what can be called Famicom Detective Club Light, where I said this, alluded to it before. You don't just get to do the Phoenix Wright thing where, I talk to a thing, that's done with. No, sometimes you gotta look at a thing more than once, more than twice. Ask about the same thing again and again. Now ask about that thing now that we talked about another thing. there's a dance to this. We're not just mashing A to get to the end of the game here.
No. And those are the kind of visual novels that bore the shit out of me, even if it's like a good story. I don't want to. I know there's a lot of people who don't want like the game portion of the visual novel. They just literally want like the text and the visuals and just really almost no resistance, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you like that style of visual novel, I just don't. I need more of a game there for me. And this provides that. This definitely provides video gaming.
I gotta say, those scenes whenever you get a curse too, where everything just stops and you're like, oh, by the way, you have a curse now.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, you got this thing. Here you go. Man, there's a lot of interesting scenarios, especially, well, okay. So my point of saying like after you figure out a lot of the curses and then like the first third of the game is over, then you go into the kind of the act 2 and that wasn't as interesting. That doesn't mean it was boring. I just don't think it was as interesting. But then as things come to its final act, I think it gets very, very interesting again. There's just a bit of a lull in the middle for me. But you know what makes it very good is that there's a lot of characters meeting each other for the first time that have to like exchange information, and they don't make you sit through that. There's a lot of, they're very smart about it. There's a lot of like, okay, this person finally meets that person. Okay, they talk for a while, they fade to black, and now they know everything that each other knows. And I think that's just smart.
Another element to gameplay there that they do make you do is they make sure that you park those people where they're supposed to be. You can't just be like, oh, fuck off and move on to the next thing. You got to make sure make sure you're paying the fuck attention. This isn't no stink. This ain't no. I can't think of a. This ain't no House of Fata Morgana that Steve's mashing through on his free time right now. You gotta pay attention to context.
You sure do. And yeah, you got to be like, because sometimes you don't know until you come back to some other portion of the story in some other timeline. It's like, oh, wait, I probably should have had him go to the park so this could happen. You know what I mean? You start figuring that stuff out. Oh, I should have had him go to the bridge so they can talk to this person, you know, because they're there now. And shit like that. But the game is very good about telling you, like, hey, by the way, sometimes you can't progress until something else happens. So if you need to suspend the chapter, you can do that. You know, I'm glad they didn't just leave it up to like chance, because I wouldn't have necessarily thought about that. I'm kind of bullish. If they keep letting me play, I'll just keep playing.
No, let me into the damn school, damn it. Like, we got to investigate.
Yeah, so, you know, it's
like good. I said, the game wants you to succeed. Eventually.
For sure. Although, I will say, the bad endings were very funny. Especially
many bad endings.
So many bad endings, especially with the way the credits would just scroll by real fast. It was so good.
And like, the dramatic music flares up.
Yeah. And then like the ending was bad enough. Like it was a comically bad ending. And then the credits it's funnier than any Castlevania that does that, or it was peak comedy. I don't know if they meant it to be so funny, but it was fucking funny.
It's just almost sort of makes you wish it was voiced.
Yeah.
But, you know, budgets.
Yeah, I wish. And see, that's another thing you were talking about with budget, with Famicom Detective Club. Almost all that stuff is voiced, especially in MEO.
Especially in MEO.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, I get it. They did not have... Well, I don't know. We haven't played the second one. That's why, by the way, that's why this first one was on sale for $5. The second one came out like last month. So we decided to try this. Smart on them to do that, because honestly, like I said, I either never knew this game existed or I completely forgot that it did.
And yeah, I had a great time. Great fucking time.
Oh yeah, so like, okay, so the storyteller at the beginning, he asked you, hey, if you have the power to bring people back to life, what would you do? I was like, I don't want any part of that shit. I was like, I don't want to do that at all. What did you say?
Yeah, I've engaged with enough fiction through the years to know that never turns out the way you'll want, unless you're a handful of things. Yeah, no, I didn't want that. No.
Yeah, I did not want that either. So you said you went systematically through the stories. I went right for Tsutsumi so I could get to the cops. I wanted to know the facts, Jack. So like I was like, okay, these are some people with some power to get into some places because they're the police.
I heard you liked 80s cop show music, Andre.
There isn't a whole lot of like a bunch of music in this game. There isn't like, 30 different theme songs or some shit, but there's a lot of music that repeats. But yeah, when they get to that one swanky cop one, oh yeah, baby, we are, that's some good shit.
Yeah. When everything hits in this game, it hits, but yeah, I guess it's the $20 game, huh?
Yeah, it sure is. Oh, you know what I really loved? I loved when Tsutsumi and Najima were any of their dialogue together. They're just going back and forth. Ha ha ha, I got your daughter now, bitch. You son of a motherfucking bitch. I'll kick your ass. Shut the fuck up. That's why I hate you so goddamn much. Why don't you just shut up and listen? Oh God, the way they were just cussing each other out just immediately when they got on the phone was just like incredible. I laughed my ass off through all of those sequences.
And the other guy's just staring at him like, what the fuck is he doing? Although, speaking of reading, they gave you all the details you needed to do to figure out this thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lots and lots of reading to pour through to, like, these are the curses. These are where the curses took place. This particular district over here is over a bunch of bridges where everyone died and pollution happened for the past few decades.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, guys.
Yeah, they give you a lot of information. They want you to like look through that stuff and find clues at times. And I think that's cool. I think like I don't like it when it's like stuff you have to search for or find you didn't find a little scraps of paper in this one area or something like that. If they just give you all the information, they give you the tools, and then it's like, okay, read through this shit and find out what we're looking for. I do like that.
Yeah, everything you need just updates as you go along, and it's good.
I'm glad this is becoming a series though, or it has become a series. I think we need more stuff like this, in my opinion.
7 Paranormasights in a movie, or whatever they say. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? One more thing before we stop talking about this, unless you got anything else.
Nothing offhand.
Okay, so I want to commend the game for this because I feel like a lot of games get this wrong. When you're dealing with curses and the occult and shit like that, at some point, it's almost like a horror movie. Right? In the sense that like there has to be very established rules of why the horror movie works. Freddy can only get you in your dreams, or if you say the bad guy's name 3 times, he'll appear, whatever the rules may be, right? They establish those things and they stick to those things. That's why horror movies are what they are, right? You don't want to just start doing whatever the fuck you want, because then like it's just like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Paranormasight does a really good job of covering its ass in terms of why the magic can do this, why it can't do that, why, all that kind of stuff. And they really keep track of it. The only time it threw me off is when Tsutsumi finds out, let's just say a certain something was influenced by what we know in this part of the world as black magic.
Mm.
And then he literally says, black magic is from the West and these curses are Japanese. They don't have anything to do with each other. And I'm like, oh, word? I mean, like, nobody has ever spoken to each other in the history of
the world,
of the universe across the pond. I mean, I'm pretty sure that can happen, dude.
What country are you playing this game in again, Andre? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe, not sure. Man, yeah, no, I thought that was kind of strange. Even for 1980X or whenever this game is supposed to be taking place, I thought that was a little daft of him to say that. It's like, really, dude? I mean, I'm pretty sure by the 80s we knew whatever, man. Anyway, really good game, Paranormasight, The 7 Mysteries of Honjo. I'm definitely looking forward to playing. What's the new one? Something about a mermaid, right?
Mermaid's Curse, I think.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. If you are, we can do this again. We can make it another date.
Yeah, some other time, but I have a lot of other shit to play right now.
Me too. All right, we'll take a break and then big questions. Be right back.
This is your mind on fine time.
right, we're back. And we're here to talk about, Steve, maybe our mutual favorite topic that isn't video games, or maybe more than video games. It's food.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an easy thing to bond over, right? You like food. I like food. We can like food together.
We need it to live.
We do, but we also like it, So thank God we need it to live, because it's a symbiotic relationship. So we have both tried more than once, mind you. We have both tried the new burger at McDonald's called the Big Arch. And it's been around for about a year and a half, test marketed in various countries that was not the United States, but it appeared late last year in Chicago. And now it is at McDonald's nationwide. It is rolled out everywhere. It's 2 quarter-pound patties, so think like double quarter-pounder, but it has 3 slices of white cheddar, crispy onions, as well as like actual onions, pickles, and like a new sauce that's not like the Big Mac sauce or anything, that's slathered on both the top and bottom. And it has its own particular bun. Looks like it has some poppy seeds and sesame seeds. I don't know what's going on there.
I think it's just poppy seeds.
Okay. I was hot on this. I remember I discovered what this was, and I texted you. I sent you a picture of it, and I was like, look at this thing. Look at this thing. We got to try it. I was very excited, Steve.
See, it looked nice, and I liked the idea, but I always feel like McDonald's always loses the plot a bit when they go too far from their usual fare. But I was gonna go try it. I wasn't gonna not try the new burger.
Yeah, we gotta try it. We are also, I want to say this up front, because I know like a lot of people like are either begrudging about McDonald's or whatever. I think we can say we are general McDonald's likers. We go there often enough where it's like, we're not just like, we go like once a year because we're near it or something like that. I feel like we go to McDonald's. We are McDonald's frequenters, I think we can say about ourselves.
I've been going less, but that's because the price is going up, not because I'm a McDonald's hater. Shame on you.
Same.
If that makes sense to everyone out there.
No, I mean, in fact, I want to talk about fast food prices, and what's going on there kind of at the end of the show. So stick around, everybody. There's more fast food talk to be had. But yeah, so as McDonald's likers, we are coming at this, right? Not looking to hate something. And Steve, quite honestly, I loved it. I straight up loved it. I loved the Big Arch. It was fucking great. There's something really good about having both the crispy fried onions and the slivered onions, like the ones you get on the quarter pounders. Like, the combination of those two things puts it over the top for me. It's just great, because I love onions, I guess, in any form. So to get 2 different flavors of them in the same burger is excellent.
Okay,
now tell me how much you hate it. Yeah, I know what that tone of voice means.
I need to tell everyone a story.
Uh-oh.
Because my journey to the Big Arch was fraught with danger. Well, not danger, but minor annoyances. You see, the 0th, I'm not having a stroke. The 0th time I tried getting this thing, the place decided to have a computer error of some kind, and nobody was getting lunch. I ended up getting refunded via the app later and getting some really good fried pickles from Popeyes half a mile down, but that's not what this segment is. We're talking about the Big Arch. Yeah, pickles good. Okay. But a day or 2 later, I tried again. Different time, different location. Got some weird looks from the drive-through people. Then I got sent to drive-through jail for the better part of 10 minutes, where it's like, oh, it's going to take you a few minutes, and then they make you drive to the side and they make you wait for the order, even though I made the order through the app. Like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
If you order through the app, that is weird. If you went up there and rolled up and ordered, then that'd be different, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. And I got a sandwich that could best be described as a Big Mac and a quarter pounder with cheese having a hug that neither one wanted to do. I was not impressed. But, other people like you were very impressed. So today, my 3rd attempt, Second sandwich, lunchtime. I went early. I'm giving this thing its best possible chance. And you know what? It's fine. They skimped on the crispy onions. I think having more on there would have been nice to contrast against the usual slivered onions, like you said. And I think the sauce really is a mac sauce, but less pickle forward.
See,
it's like a smooth mac sauce. Like the mac sauce is like a chunky mac sauce. This was like the smooth mac sauce.
See, I don't know. See, like I don't get mac sauce vibes from this at all, personally. Like, I don't know. It feels more like a bit mustardy forward, I think, to me. Like you said, mac sauce is pickly and there's like more mayo and shit. I don't get that from the sauce. I think the sauce is kind of, I'm not going to say it's great, but it's definitely befitting and it's different, decidedly different for what this burger is, for sure.
I mean, maybe, but the roll felt more gimmicky than anything else. Oh, sesame and poppy seeds? Stop the presses, you guys.
I will agree with you there. I think the bun is not particularly noteworthy at all.
I mean,
because, like, here's the thing. Like, when a fast food burger has its own particular bun, you kind of expect something more than that, right? I mean, I still think about the Arch Deluxe all the time. So
that's way before a lot of these people listening. So let's talk about earlier in our show's lifetime when me and Kevin had the Addams Family Whopper with the purple bun made with blue potatoes. That was good. It was a potato roll. We remember that shit. This is a sesame roll that you get, like, you pay way too much for. Like, it was fine. It was fine.
I will agree with you and say the actual bun is not particularly noteworthy, but it's fine. It's not a detriment. It's just that if they ran out of those and they had to put it on a quarter pounder bun, I'd be like, all right, fine. I'm not really losing anything there.
But listen, I ate this sandwich, Andre. I ate it twice, and that's more than I could say about the CEO making the rounds. You see that shit?
Oh yeah, I saw that shit. He didn't even want to take a bite.
And I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to have another, part mostly because of the price. But honestly, I think, like you brought up before, just between our chatter together about the Arch Deluxe and the Big and Tasty, I just think I sort of had those in my head going through this. I'm like, even though Andre, I could fucking read, I know what was going on here, but you know, nothing's ever going to live up to those other two things in my head. Like ever.
Look, man. You know I'm an Arch Deluxe lover. I get it. It's like the most infamous canceled burger of all time. That's for a reason. It was fucking good. It was so good. The rumors, if you've never had one out there, if you're too young out there, you're listening to the show and you never had an Arch Deluxe from the mid-90s, they were as good as anyone who espouses about them says. Your weird uncle, maybe that's us, your weird uncles on Fine Time right now are correct. Trust me. But I don't know, man. I think the Big Arch stands on its own. I think it is up there. I think this is one of the better McDonald's burgers I've ever had. I'd put it in like a top 5. It's very, very good, in my opinion. You can't fuck with it.
I don't know about top 5. It's fine. But at the same time, out here in New York, where everything costs even more, the meal hovers near $15. Fuck that shit.
Look, I mean, look, everyone's priced differently around the country. I can't argue value because of that, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't factor it in. I'm just saying that just purely as a burger, right? If we can dissociate price from it for just a bit, yeah, I think this thing is a hit. I think it's sticking around. I don't think it's going anywhere.
You don't think they're going to phase it out after a few months?
No. You don't roll. I don't think you roll out a burger like this and not at least try it. The Arch Deluxe made it a few years. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't just immediately be like, nah.
Because I feel like they're going to try and jettison these sesame poppy rolls as fast as they can and then be done with it.
What makes you say that, though? What, you don't think like people will go for this burger?
Because even if they do, I don't feel like McDonald's hangs on to anything very interesting for very long anymore. They can't even get them to hang on to snack wraps, and people actually like those.
I have never had one. I missed its heyday. I don't remember. I remember people liked them, and I remember people were sad when they went away, but I just never had one. So I can't relate, I guess.
Well, people will also tell you that new snack wrap is nowhere near as good as the one from a decade ago. So
yeah, but is that
20 years ago, rather? But
is that true, or is it just like
I'm not gonna, I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
Because people will always say that about stuff. But like, look, sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just realize, like, hey, this is just McDonald's, and I was like 7 when I had those snack wraps, and they were good. You know, sometimes that happens.
I mean, McDonald's also used to sell soup and salad. You know, none of this ever sells.
Oh, we used to get that salad quite a bit. The chef salad, actually, that was kind of a staple.
Was it? Because out here, you could see it turn brown from the counter.
Never got a brown salad. Maybe us just wackos in California just liked eating.
Just cycling right through that lettuce.
Yeah. We were just out here being healthy at McDonald's, even though it's a chef salad and it's inherently not healthy. All right, yeah, no. For me, Big Arch, great success. I will be getting it. Not super often. It is expensive out here too, but every once in a while, I'm going for that thing, and I think it's going to stick around. All right, guys, big questions time. You already know the Xbox news. We don't really need to tell you, do we? But we'll just recap for posterity to set up whatever we're going to talk about here. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are out as Xbox executives, and a new lady is in, Asha Sharma. Hope I said that correctly. There's obviously been a lot of stories and talking points around this news, and there's been a lot of fallout and stuff that has come out after. And we're just going to kind of cherry pick the points that we want to make about this. You know, that's the best thing we can do here for something like this, Steve.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Where do you want to start? I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Do you got anything you're really burning for?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I'll start here. Microsoft, y'all couldn't have done this like before the end of 2025, so I could have won some fine time dollars. Didn't I have $200 on that shit?
You had something like that, yeah.
I mean, come on,
Phil,
man.
anyway, yeah.
I was off by what, like a month? 6 weeks? Come on, man.
The AI lady. Why was the AI lady the pick?
Yeah, Asha Shawarma was something in charge of Microsoft AI.
And that's the thing. That's what Microsoft is now. You read any other news story, and that's all they're talking about. Other than, well, I should say, if you read any real news story, that's not game news, because game news isn't real news. You know, when Microsoft's in the news, it's about Microsoft and their AI initiative. That's all they are now. They're an AI company.
And she was definitely at the forefront of that. Now she's at the forefront of Xbox. Didn't she have some sort of statement about, like, we will not make soulless slop and the humans make video games and blah, blah, blah. She was trying to say all the right things. She even used the word slop, which is very telling, because you know how it is. Like, these AI companies and like the companies who are really in bed with it, like Microsoft, they try to avoid that word at all costs. They have been up to this point.
Well, another day or two ago, Windows Central or someone like that had a thing saying, well, might have been the Windows Discord, banning the word slop. Like, hey, that's not allowed. Yeah, don't be calling our slop.
It was the Microsoft. It was the Microsoft. It was the Microsoft Copilot Discord. They had a specific Discord for Copilot.
Right.
Yeah, and so they kept using the term microslop, and they banned the word microslop. Okay. So people kept spelling slop with a 0 or spelling Microsoft with a $sign or whatever. Which, shit, that goes back.
That's some 1998 shit right there.
Yeah, dude. How long have you been doing that shit on the internet? We've been spelling Microsoft with a $sign for fucking ever.
Remember, this is really dating me here. You ever see the parody software Wind Blows 95?
Yes. Yes.
And I think it really was by a company called Parody Software, but it's spelled like the bird parrot. And there's like a
parrot.
And it's got like a parrot with a cigar as the logo.
Do you remember the parody game Pissed? PYST?
They made Pissed too.
Yeah. They made Pissed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know they made Pissed. Interesting. Wasn't John Goodman in Pissed?
He was in Pissed. He was King. What's his name?
Anyone under the age of 30 right now is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
they're definitely okay boomering us right now.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, Microsoft has been having a time with AI and, they realize nobody likes it. So the fact that new Xbox lady here came out and said, we are not going to make soulless slop and blah, blah, blah. Like she's trying to say the right things, but I mean,
it's just hard to believe after they canceled all those video games and might cancel some more. Who knows?
Yeah, just okay. So like as early as 2021, like before we started the show, I kept saying like, hey guys, I don't think Phil Spencer is it. Like after like a year into like Xbox Series X and S, which was obviously a terrible idea to begin with. They should have never done that. But like a year in after like, I think it was shortly after Halo Infinite happened and came out and it was just kind of like, whatever. I was like, not only is the system not working out, I don't think Phil Spencer's the guy here, but that largely fell on deaf ears because people liked him. People like Phil Spencer, and I get it. So did Kevin. Kevin came on here and gave him all the benefit of the doubt in the world because he liked him. And I understand that. Like people liked Reggie, but Reggie also got results. Like it was both. Yes, even during Wii U, Reggie got results. You don't sell 8 million copies of Mario Kart 8 to like 13 million Wii U owners by accident. Yes, you could say like, oh, there was nothing else to buy, but you don't sell anything to over 50% of a user base by not trying. You know what I mean? So he made the best of the situations that he was dealt. The man came in the GameCube era. He was forged in fire. Phil Spencer hasn't done shit.
Yeah, let's sit on this for a minute because another Windows Central article, and bear with me because it's got a very funky-ass title. A farewell to Phil Spencer, the man who saved Xbox, and salutations to Asher Sharma, who will steer Xbox through its toughest era. That's the whole name of the article, published February 23rd. Lots of, and all the revisionist history we all have for Phil aside about saving Xbox.
What the fuck did that man save?
We'll set that aside for a minute. The article does some blaming that it points out. It blames Sony as competition. Okay, obviously they make video games. It blames TikTok and OnlyFans. Did we call out Matt Booty on this shit last year? Matt, yes. My real name is Booty last year.
By the way, how did he escape the wrath here? He's not fired. How is he still here?
I don't know. But you know who didn't get blamed for this in the article? Nintendo, the video game company. The video game company that makes the video game consoles and the video games. That didn't buy all the studios and end up shutting them down and then canceling all the projects in the past decade. I know we're very Nintendo-centric on this podcast and every corporation is bad, but come the fuck on. They're the real competition in this space and not even a mention in these kinds of articles because even if they themselves don't play it that way, maybe we need to start looking at them that way because between this and Sony shutting down Bluepoint, it really feels like they're the only ones taking this seriously, Andre.
Amen. You're preaching to the choir here. And like, I am so fucking tired of these companies, particularly Microsoft, coming out here and saying, oh, we can't do this and can't do that. And Nintendo's right here, bitch. They have been doing that. Phil Spencer's the fateful, obviously, and I've been harping on this ever since it happened. The Redfall damage control interview. Remember that? Where everything hit rock bottom and Phil Spencer had to go on the podcast and say, hey, we're okay. We still have games coming. Xbox isn't going anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Do all the damage control. And he, on that show, he had the money quote of, there's not a world where we can just go out there and just put out a bunch of good games and everyone will come back to Xbox. Motherfucker, yes, you can. Nintendo literally just did that with Switch.
Wasn't that also the podcast where they said, well, a lot of our Minecraft sales are on Switch? Or is that a different one?
I believe so.
I don't know.
So it's like, what are you talking about? So yeah, that's what drives me crazy about this shit, where it's like, they keep saying these things are impossible and they keep happening, just not to them. Like, it's crazy, man. The Verge article, I don't know if it was a Windows Central one you were talking about. There was a Verge article essentially blaming Sarah Bond for pretty much all of this and still exalting Phil and that was just either top shelf racism or sexism or both. I don't know what, man. It's not all that lady's fault. Yes, she's like robot corporate lady, and we've said so as many times on this show, but like, to put this shit on her is insane. Yes, she came up with the "this is an Xbox" thing. That was her baby. Okay, so if you want to blame her for anything, it's that. Obviously, that has done more harm to the Xbox brand than anything this generation. The whole "this is an Xbox" thing. That more harm than Game Pass, more harm than anything. So sure, if you want to blame her for that, fine. But to sit there and say like she did everything and like Phil Spencer gets off scot-free because we like him, like, fuck off.
Yeah, I know a sacrificial lamb when I see one. That wasn't right.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to say it. Say what you want about Don Matrick, especially near the end with the whole, I get that he's remembered for we have a console for those people and it's called the Xbox 360. I get he's never going to live that down. At the same time, that man shipped games. He did. Xbox 360, I've said it on the show, it didn't make our top 10 consoles of all time, but I lobbied for it. It would have been one of mine if it were up to me. Like, that system was incredible. And he's the reason why, not the only reason why, but he kept shit rolling, man. Like, and we don't respect that anymore because of the way it ended. But I have a lot more respect for what he did at Xbox than Phil Spencer. I can tell you that much.
I think it's just now that, not just that, it's just was the beginning of the end. Now that we're really looking at it too. But
yeah,
hindsight's 2020, you know?
So what do they do, Steve? What the fuck do they do? We know they're putting out a new Xbox. Despite both you and Kevin pushing back on me on that, I've always been steadfast about this. They are making a new Xbox. That's happening. So what does that machine look like? How do they make it attractive? Because I'm not sure at this point.
Okay, Andre, I know you hate hearing this from me, but the new Xbox, assuming Miss Sharma, the AI puppet is even going to be allowed to put it out, because I think this is another sacrificial lamb hire, if we're being real, is going to be a consoleized PC akin to the upcoming Gabe Cube, but with all the Xbox accoutrement attached. Its appeal or attractiveness is going to be able to get into any of the PC associated storefronts you want fairly easily. But Steve, that's not fairly attractive or especially attractive. But Andre, did you look at any of these other headlines? It's not about any of that anymore.
It could be, though.
They don't want it.
It's so easy, though. Make game, sell game.
I know, but it's Copilot this and Microslop that now. This is not an Xbox. They don't want an Xbox over there.
I don't know, man.
I mean, if they do, they're fooling me. And I feel bad about it.
maybe you're right. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part. I still think an Xbox is coming out. And I don't know if it's going to look like what you just said, but I don't think they're going. I don't know, man. I just don't see how they can just keep not learning the same lessons 3 generations in a row. I don't see how they can just keep doing that.
I mean, we also brought up however many times now, the price of the series is have gone up too. How are they going to make a new Xbox attractive at $800-ish plus dollars?
Day one Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive to Xbox and not on PC. That's how you do it.
They're not doing that.
Well, they can. It's right in front of their fucking face and they refuse to do it.
Yeah, that's, you just said it yourself. They won't do it.
They have that. That's what's so frustrating about these conversations though, right? They have the means and they just refuse to use them.
We got to reach that PC audience.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Andre, Bluepoint was feeling like a real drop in the bucket against the Microsoft news, and we always feel real fucking bad when everyone loses their jobs, but then real hero of the podcast, Jason Schreier, pops on with his newsletter on February 27th to talk about what we already knew, that they were working on the God of War live service game where everyone's Atreus. All right, I guess. They got canceled in early 2025, and then they frantically tried pitches back towards their usual fare, most notably fan favorite Bloodborne, which, suffered from being a PS4 game in 2015.
Sure did.
Sony said yes. From Software said no. What I really just want to explore just a little bit is, even briefly, if any of these buyouts from any of these people had any real plan besides buy the company, question mark, profit. Because after being told, wait and see from Microsoft, and that was clearly a mistake, and things like this, I don't know anymore.
I mean, so this show has lived entirely in the age of the layoff. And I think this Bluepoint situation is the most senseless one yet. It's one of the biggest bag fumbles of all time. It's absolute bullshit. And one of the biggest wastes of money and talent ever. Ever. Steve, I legitimately don't think we've seen one this senseless since what Electronic Arts did to Bullfrog and Maxis and shit. I'm talking that long ago.
That was a long time ago.
I put that on the level of those. This is just what are we even doing in this industry? But here's the thing though. Much like Demon's Souls, Sony owns the Bloodborne IP. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They don't actually need From Software's permission to do this, but they seeked it out anyway. And From Software said no. They respected From Software enough on this point to say, hey, we're going to do this. Are you cool with this? Even when they didn't have to, because they did Demon's Souls for PS5 launch. I don't know if they asked From Software about that. Who knows? But they sure asked them about Bloodborne, which again they didn't have to do. So why did they? And why did they respect their wishes on that front? They could have Sony just wanted money. They could have just done it anyway.
Probably. I think it's a Japanese culture thing to do that.
It is. It 100% is. But did they do that with Demon's Souls? We don't know the answer, I guess.
I'm assuming someone did around there, but that's just speculation.
But why? Why would FromSoft say no?
I guess that they would want to do it on their own, or maybe they didn't like being outdone with the Demon's Souls remake, or being perceived that way. Who can say? I didn't play any of those.
Yeah, well, this isn't my genre. I don't like these. None of us on the show like these games, so that's not our. I got Demon's Souls on PS5 at launch just because of a launch game, and I just wanted to look at something pretty. You know what I mean? But it was the same deal for me. I played it for a good 6 hours and I got really bored and I didn't return. That's what always happens with those games. I hit a wall and I'm like, I've had enough. I've tried. It's what always happens to me. Have you, what's your history? Have you ever tried a Dark Souls? I don't remember. Like,
not for real. I guess I really should just sit down and like, I've played demos of them. Maybe I should just like download a full one and see how I really get on with it.
Anyway, I don't know if I have much more to say here. I just don't, it sucks. It's senseless. I was actually excited when Sony acquired Bluepoint because I'm like, yeah, they're going to bring him in-house to do all this shit. Well, you know what? That kind of puts it on my head because, you know, they're remaking the original God of War trilogy. I would have thought for sure back in the day that'd be Bluepoint. It's obviously not them now. So who the fuck's doing that?
Everyone thought that during the state of play until that happened like another day or two later.
Right.
Yeah. Senseless. You said it yourself. Senseless.
All right. Our next topic. Again, thank you, Jason Schreier, for very often giving us big questions. And this broke, a few hours before we started recording here?
Yeah, I know he lives out here. I should just send him a party hero for Christmas or something.
Something, man. This guy deserves it. All right. I'll just read this straight from his skeet on Blue Sky. And I quote, Sony no longer plans to release PlayStation games on PC, sources tell Bloomberg News. A major shift in strategy that sees the console maker returning to exclusivity after 6 years of flirting with multi-platform. Ghosts of Yote and Saros are not coming to PC. End quote. Ooh, where do you want to start? I mean, there's a lot here.
I guess that tracks. Maybe they're fine. Someone sat down and realized the effort versus profit isn't super high. If they're that concerned about, you know, if they're starting to be more concerned about exclusives being exclusives for realsies.
As they should, as any console maker should. Despite what a bunch of idiots online will tell you, yes, they should.
I mean, we all know that they lost all the Square ones recently. Final Fantasy Rebirth coming to Switch 2 and Xbox in June.
By the way, speaking of that, Kevin, don't listen to this part. I have a feeling Kevin is going to ask me on the next Place Your Bets whether Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 will be a multi-platform game from the start. And I don't think it's going to be. I'm going to say no. And if he gives me odds on that, I'll bet a lot. And I think I'm going to be right. I think that shit's still going to be on PS5, like for it to start.
I don't know.
Yeah, obviously, you don't know. What would you
like? It's not 2-1, but I don't know what odds I would make on that.
But what do you think? Do you think it's being on all platforms at the start? Because I don't think that's happening.
I don't think it's as impossible as it was a few years ago.
I just personally don't see it for some reason. So, okay, Kevin, you can listen again. Tune back in. Okay. Yeah, no more PlayStation games on PC. Steve, there used to be a time where, God, I know we've sounded so old this episode already. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to have to sound old now again. There used
time
to be
go
a time,
pick up the milk and magnesia and the cod liver oil.
Okay, we're not that old. we're not that like, go pick me up my Depends or something. We don't need all that shit yet.
Hop on the trolley.
Grandpa, let's get you to bed. There used to be a time where the console market and the PC market used to not be seen as equatable whatsoever. Like, if a console game went to PC, it barely registered. Like, think about it. They're like Panzer Dragoon, Final Fantasy 7 and 8, Sonic R. Like, there's a lot of ports to PC around, like, in the 90s.
Sonic R.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that came to PC and, like, nobody cared. Those were still considered, like, Saturn and PlayStation exclusives. The fact that there was a PC version didn't matter worth a shit. And, like, think about this, too. Like, in the magazine era, you would either buy console magazines like EGM or GamePro, or you would buy PC magazines. You would almost never see magazines that covered both. Almost never happened.
I can't even name one that consistently covered both. Like you'd see someone like try it for a few months, like, nah, no one's really responding to the PC part. We're going back to consoles.
Yeah, they would try it out. I feel like Next Generation covered both. I feel like they had like big things on like Quake and stuff when it came out on PC, but like as far as like the other magazines are concerned, we just waited for like Quake 64 or some shit, you know, because they didn't cover PC. Point is, these things used to be not just like separated in media, but also just for as far as mindshare goes, completely separate. That is not the case anymore, obviously. We live in a world where those days are long behind us, and having a true console exclusive matters now more than it ever has. And Sony realizes that now. Microsoft obviously doesn't realize that. Nintendo has always realized that, but you know, we don't talk about that very much.
Yeah, I remember when I was sort of talking about that before. I do wonder if this also means Sony's going to stop the smaller games from showing up on Switch too as well. I could not find numbers on any of the things popping up so far, like Lego Horizons or Potapon or Everyone's Golf, but I do know that Death Stranding and Kena are already partnered releases, still getting PC releases. So the door's not locked behind them 100% yet. And I already hear you out there going, Steve, do you just want Lemmings on all the apps? And yes, guys, I just want Lemmings on all the apps.
That would be so good. Lemmings needs to come back, man. Where's our Lemmings?
I want Lemmings on everything, and I want Sony ImageSoft on Super Nintendo, Nintendo Classics.
My friend had 3D Lemmings for PS1.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that shit was weird.
I've seen footage, and
it's weird. It wasn't bad. It was just definitely, yeah, that's a different take on Lemmings, all right. But yeah, I gotta get this off my chest. To all the nincompoops out there who sees news like this and they just reply with, well, I guess Sony hates money. Please use critical thinking for once in your goddamn life and realize that Microsoft is the one who hates money. Okay? They have put every Xbox game day and date on PC for years now, and it has gotten them absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. And of course, you could argue that Microsoft hasn't had the library or they don't have any games, but you know what? They sure did the last year and a half. And if you're going to sit there and tell me that Avowed and South of Midnight and like Outer Worlds 2, Indiana Jones, et cetera, if you're going to sit there and tell me those wouldn't have sold tons of consoles and been much more towards their brand for doing that, you're crazy. You're not being honest with yourself.
And remember last March or so when we were all here for fucking Avowed?
Yep.
All three of us?
Mm-hmm.
No particular reason, just thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah. I don't know. You ever hear of a little splash called Hi-Fi Rush? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe you either want to do this console business or you don't. And Sony is realizing that. Like, you either want to build this brand or you don't. Man, it's like, I get that like long-term profitability, everyone just seems allergic to it, to the idea of like, hey, maybe we should have a brand so we can sell games to that and to those people. But, you know, that's why I always sound like a weird hater or something when I say stuff like, oh yeah, Helldivers 2 on Xbox is a fucking terrible idea. But they can make so much more money. Not all money's good money. That's temporary money for now. What about 10 years from now? Like, does anyone care? I guess not. You know what this reminds me of? You know the human resources meme? So it's like, Nintendo doesn't do PC games. Ah, you're sweet. Sony doesn't do PC games. Hello, human resources? Like, that's what's going on here.
To be fair, if you look hard enough online, you'll see the people that want the Breath of the Wilds and things on PC.
Too fucking bad.
I need Tears of the Kingdom to run at 260 FPS while I have my water cooler here with the goldfish swimming in it.
I saw something today where it's like people are, I don't want to say complaining. I don't think this is a lot of people, but people are wondering why Pokemon Pokocopia is not, Spanakopita is not on original Switch. And it's like, Nintendo was about to sell so many Switch 2s, you have no fucking idea. Dude, they know how to sell hardware and push hardware and engender that base. It's not even about, oh, could it run on this other thing? They don't give a fuck. They're like, nah, we're making a Switch 2 game. And that's it. You want this? You're buying a Switch 2. Guess what? Everyone's going to buy a Switch 2. That's how fucking easy this business can be sometimes. God damn it. Like, that's all you got to do. Make a game, sell a game on a system. You want it? Buy it. I dare you, bitch. Guess what? That game is going to sell millions. It doesn't matter what people like me say. And trust me, I've had a lot to say, right? Like, Pokemon Spanakopita is going to go buck wild in these streets on Switch 2.
Join us in a little while when me and the Poke Pals play Pokopia and some other things.
Yeah, y'all can get down on that all you want. But yeah, man, I'm sick of the bullshit, and I'm glad Sony's doing this. I think the best games are console exclusives. You get to focus on one set of hardware, you get to focus, and that's it. And you make it for this system, and that's it. People just think like it's still weird that people think you can just hit a button in Unreal and just port everything to everything. And I get it. It's easier to do than it ever has been before, but ports are still ports, man. You have to worry about a bunch of systems. You can't focus on one. You very often have to make a lesser product. That's just true. Sorry.
But Andre, I want to play Stellar Blade on the FM Towns Marty.
Well, port it yourself. Do your own. What is it called when they do a demake? Make a Stellar Blade demake.
I think I'd rather play Stellar Blade first than do all that.
So, for years now, there's been a thing that the Saudi Arabian government has been doing that we can generally describe as sports washing. This is a practice in which an entity that is trying to improve their social standing or trying to curry favor with the public, they do that via sports because everyone loves sports. So they have Live Golf. They now have WWE. They're investing a ton into soccer too. And all of this is to try and project to the world, hey, we're cool. We promise we're cool, to hide the atrocities underneath. And of course, these days, sports washing also means esports. You may have heard that sometime last fall, the Kidia investment company bought 50% of Evolution, more commonly known as EVO, the fighting game tournament held annually in Las Vegas and Japan, and I think recently France. But as of last week, that stake in EVO is now 100%. EVO is now a fully owned product by a Saudi Arabian government entity. They promised in a statement that, quote, EVO's traditions, values, and identity will remain unchanged, end quote. I mean, they can say that, but we all know the truth about acquisitions like this. This is not about values. It's about money. Actually, you know what? Fuck that. It doesn't even seem like it's about money either. What it really seems like what they want to do is like completely own the fighting game space completely. Because shortly after the acquisition, they announced like 6 other EVO events around the world. So there's basically going to be like 9 EVOs a year now. What the fuck? And yes, of course, one of the events is in Saudi Arabia because no shit, it's going to be. And I've seen a lot of chatter online where people are saying, hey, like, who gives a shit if this devalues EVO? How about the fact that it's going to overshadow everything else that's not an EVO event? because the community feels like everything they do is going to be squeezed out by this big corporation doing big corporation things all the time. But as a complete outsider to this shit, obviously, I'm going to push back on that, because let me tell you something right now. This is not going to work. Why won't it work? It's a fucking terrible idea. That's why. Why would you have an Evo practically every month? That's insane. And because it's going to devalue the shit out of them, that means y'all's events are safe. Like, nobody is going to give a shit about monthly Evo. I can almost promise you that. I will be shocked if this takes off in any capacity. And the funny thing is that, like, they're also trying to institute some sort of, like, fighting game gauntlet thing where it's like, oh, let's see who's really the best at fighting games by having them play, like, 3 different ones, and then we'll take the results of those and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, on the surface, okay, I think that's a fun idea. I think goofy ass tournaments should be more of a thing in this space. And I'm just saying that, again, not as a competitor or someone who is actually in this community or someone who even watches this shit all the time, but just as someone who is a general video game liker and occasional viewer of stuff on the internet. I think goofy shit is fun. You know, hey, like a few months ago, someone had a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 random select tournament. Random select the 3 characters in your team. And I thought that shit was funny as fuck. Okay? So there's room for this, but Evo is not it. This is not the time or place for that. Even I know that people are so singularly focused on their game and their character in that game, or a couple of characters that they play in that game, and that's it. You know, that's hard enough to compete with, let alone worrying about playing multiple games. I think that kind of fundamentally misunderstands the competitive nature of this stuff. You know, it's in a way that they clearly don't understand because they're trying to make this happen. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen. You might be wondering why I care about this at all, since I famously watch very little gaming content on the internet, let alone live event gaming. And that's just typically not my thing. So I'll tell you why I care. I think Evo was the best video game event we had going. The best. I think it's better than any League of Legends thing. I think it's better than anything you could name, in my opinion. There was just something about the way it had it all, to me. Like, yes, it was corporate, especially increasingly more corporate over time as it got bigger and bigger, but at its core, it still felt like a bunch of guys from a bunch of communities that were real people that would come in and do this shit because they love it. That's what makes real sports, for lack of a better term, quote unquote, real sports, appealing to me too. Because, yeah, baseball players make millions of dollars, sometimes tens of millions of dollars, but they're clearly out there doing this because they love this shit, man. And I got that from Evo. Those people love that shit. It was the best video game event we had going in that regard. And now we can't have it anymore. It sucks and it's fucking sad. But I have one last thought on this. I'm very curious to see what this year's Evo attendance will be and what the vibe will be at that event. This matters a lot because, for those who don't know, the fighting game community is very brown and black and also very LGBT, which means that this is a very politically savvy group of people, and this community doesn't put up with a lot of bullshit. You know, so it's going to be very, very telling to see how many people will still find community at Evo. And I think the early numbers on signups for games will be pretty telling. And quite honestly, I can't wait to see how that's going to shake out. It might be nothing. It might be the same numbers as always, or it might be a complete mess. Only time will tell, I guess. But for now, Evo, rest in piss. Steve, I got one more question for you before we get out of here. Okay, I kind of alluded to it earlier when we were talking about the big arch. But as we well know, fast food prices are higher than ever. They're crazy. I go to McDonald's maybe, I'm not saying I went like every week or something like that. Now I go like once every 6 weeks or something. I go just kind of here and there. I used to go more. And I used to go to a lot of places a lot more, and now I don't do that anymore. It's getting to the point where it's like I may as well just go to an actual restaurant around here than go to fast food. It's not, the convenience is not the same, and it's not worth the price anymore. We went because it was cheap, but the prices are going up, and I get it. In this world, the prices have to go up, and we can talk about the reasons why that is another time. Here's what I want to ask you. I'm sure you've seen these reports, like of the CEOs of these companies, especially the ones that are going crazy with the prices like McDonald's. They keep talking about people who make $100,000 a year or more. They keep talking about, yeah, we're losing our low-cost customers, but we're really making it with the upper class right now. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Chipotle recently had a thing where they estimated 60% of their sales right now are from people who make $100K or more a year. What the fuck are we doing? Like, is now eating out for like rich people? And look, I know, before people come after me, I know, like, depending on where you live, 100K doesn't necessarily make you rich. All I'm saying is this, Steve, I don't know what's in your wallet or your bank account. I would very well estimate that 100K a year is more than what both you and I make combined. Just saying. So, like, what are they doing here? What is their ultimate play? They're just gonna, like, we hope a bunch of people who have a lot of money come to McDonald's now and fuck the rest of y'all.
Well, you know, you talk about in free-to-play games, the whales, right, where you're hoping they just splash all the cash, but in order to get their attention, you'd have to have something good, and that's not what you'd really would spend a whole lot on for Chipotle or McDonald's, right? If you have the money.
Yeah, right. Because like if you make a decent amount of money, I'm not saying you never want to go to McDonald's or Chipotle. I mean, of course you do. I mean, every I'm sure most Americans do, no matter how much money you make or don't make. But at the same time, you're right. Like, is that really like what you want to? It just seems absurd to me on its face, Steve, to be like McDonald's is now for high income earners. That's what? Am I in crazy land?
Is the plan for the president to order hamburgers for everybody who wins a tournament? And is that the long-term business plan?
Yeah, just the McDonald's will only exist in the DC area right now whenever our dumb shit president wants a snack and to feed the any team that's dumb enough to go there for a photo op. Is that what we're doing?
You brought up Chipotle. They're too expensive too. I got a nice burrito place not too far away from my nearest Chipotle, and they're only another $1 or more so per burrito. It's not even a contest.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna pay a lot of money, and look, like again, all places have gone up, not just fast food, but restaurants everywhere. But it's like, I work at a casino and they have a restaurant that I can get a burger there, a big burger there for less than a Big Arch. And don't get me wrong, I really like the Big Arch, but like I can go get real fucking food at a restaurant for the same thing. Like I don't know what the play is here.
I complained about the Big Arch before being almost $15 for around that same price, I can go to a diner. I can sit down. I can get a real iced tea or something and get a much better burger. Tip the lady and know that real people are getting the money and not that guy that doesn't even know what a hamburger looks like.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're right. So I don't know. I just don't understand. This can't continue. This feels like, it legitimately feels like some dystopia, like The Running Man or some shit like I saw late last year, early this year, whenever, where it's like meat is just like, you have to, oh, we got our number called to go to the park last week. Wow. Shit like that. Like, what's next, man?
I guess the fast food wars and Demolition Man, where Taco Bell won, or Pizza Hut won if you live in Europe.
Right? Like, it's crazy, man. Taco Bell is actually, I mean, Taco Bell's also gotten more expensive, but I know you don't like Taco Bell by any means, but like, it's still like, you
a lot
can
of that
go
is tied
there.
To the price.
Yeah. Considering the price, it's still not bad. I haven't been to Jack in the Box. I basically stopped going. That's like the shit out here, as you well know. I went to Jack in the Box Mall. I have not been to Jack in the Box since the Rona, like maybe twice. There's no point. It's so fucking expensive. I'm not paying those prices for that. I'm never doing it. So I don't know, man. They can just keep chasing this dragon. Oh, maybe, we'll just chase high income earners. Okay, good luck to you, I guess. I don't think that's a winning strategy.
Maybe they're counting. Maybe Chipotle's plan is to get all these 100K plus earners to engage in their catering program. You ever see that when they're in there? Like, have Chipotle cater your party. Like, because, man, if I have tons of money, I'm just going to have everyone over for fucking Chipotle.
I mean, like, look, if you're having a little birthday party or something, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, hey, let's order Popeyes for catering, and just like, that's fine, whatever, right? But like, is that something? I don't think that's something they can rely on.
Well, to be fair, I think Popeyes has been more reasonable this whole time, but that's another.
Y'all got El Pollo Loco out there?
We do not.
You do not. You know what it is, though.
I've heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, they're kind of big on catering. They have like the menus and shit like right out there, like kind of like the little brochures. Hey, order it. So like it must be a big part of some of these places' business, but I don't think you can just rely on that shit. But yeah, man. So fast food is for rich people. I mean, that seems like the complete opposite of my entire life, but
remember the 99-cent menu from Wendy's? Now I can't even go there anymore. It's like almost $3 for the junior bacon cheeseburger now.
Dog, that's another thing I have dropped. I have not been to I mean, I'll still go every so often, maybe like twice a year. I used to go to Wendy's a lot. Fuck it. I ain't doing it anymore.
Big Bacon Classic, more like the Big Bacon Disappointment.
Wow. Jesus Christ. I mean, people swore by that thing. I think, well, here's the thing.
It used to be great.
It was great. Then the Baconator happened, and don't get me wrong, I like the Baconator, but even that just seems, I guess what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of people who will say stuff about products, especially fast food, or even just stuff like Pop-Tarts, right? Be like, oh, they're not as good as they used to be. And typically that means I'm not a child anymore, and this used to taste good, and now I have a different palate. That's what that means, I think, like 70% of the time. I think it's actually true about Wendy's, though. I go there, and that place is just not the fucking same. It's not.
It really isn't. When I was younger, I remember the spicy chicken sandwich being dynamite too, and it is not that today.
Nope. Oh God, yeah. My family used to get that one all the time. But
it's not spicy, and I think it's flown closer to chicken than ever before.
Question mark? Yeah.
Question mark.
It's just not the same. It's not that it's bad. I don't go to Wendy's and it's like, this sucks now. It's just that it's like, this isn't as good as it used to be.
It's not as good, and the value proposition isn't there.
Exactly, which is the whole point of this discussion. It's like you keep raising prices for a worse product. But here's the thing. I don't think McDonald's is a worse product. McDonald's has been the same thing it always has been our entire lives and will continue to be that.
But price go up.
Yeah, but price go up. Like quality don't go up, price go up. So there's only so much I can take. So if the answer to all these companies is 100K earners, I mean, Steve, what are we?
I don't need,
out here doing?
I don't need a Big Mac hamburger that bad.
I really don't. I'll eat something else. Well, okay, that's the end of the show. Thanks for sticking with us the entire time. If you have made it to the end of the show and are hearing this, we really appreciate it. I mean, look, I see the metrics. I know not everyone listens to the entire show, nor do I expect everyone to. You know, that's why I put timestamps when I edit the show, so you can hear the parts that you want. We appreciate any amount of listening for Fine Time, but if you're one of those who listens to the whole show, we just want you to know we appreciate it. So check the description of this podcast to follow us on social media if you don't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to